are ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't hear you. Oh!
Ahoy there, everyone, and welcome aboard Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast live. I'm your captain, Jimbob Oval Shorts, and tonight we've got some awesome stuff planned ahead for you guys. We have a pretty full house in here with us this evening. I'm excited for everything that's going on, and I totally can't wait to get it kicked off. So I'm going to start bringing folks in. First and foremost, we ain't seen them in 2 or 3 weeks here. We've got Bandit. I know he's hanging in there somewhere. Bandit, how you doing, buddy?
I'm here.
Hooray, I'm glad to hear you. There you are, good sir. And of course, with me tonight again this evening is Luis. Luis, welcome back, buddy. I'm so glad that you're still hanging in there with us. I appreciate you hanging in there through the hiatus too, man. I know the summer was kind of slow. We didn't do a whole lot, but, you know, you're at least on board with us, so I appreciate that, man.
Trying to stay alive.
And I know that, what most of y'all are probably looking into for this evening. We've got all kinds of great things going on in the world and whatnot. And I am trying our attempt tonight at our first live guest. Totally a previous guest of our show that's been on here before, hanging out with us when we were doing the recorded episodes. You guys probably see him all over the internet and totally know him as Libertarian Jesus. And here he is this evening joining us. How you doing, buddy?
Thought to go ahead and throw the costume on. Why not?
Hey, man. No, I appreciate it. We always love for folks to be in costume when they're here, man. It's been a ongoing thing, so I definitely enjoy when it happens again. So
always welcoming the Messiah.
Yeah.
glad you
could crown and everything.
Yeah, I tried to add a little crown to your animation too. I hope you appreciate it. I worked really I try to work really hard on all my little animations, and I was just like, well, if he's gonna come on, I got to make him a character as well. So, but man, I do appreciate you coming in and joining us again. It's been a while since we had you on, and I know you're a busy fella just like we are and such. And it's good to have you on over here. And
it's funny because the last time I was supposed to join y'all, I overbooked because what I didn't know is that the same day I was supposed to be joining y'all, I was also supposed to have a PEC meeting with the Baton Rouge Libertarian Party, and then I was also supposed to be catching a bus to Young Americans for Liberty with a pit stop in Atlanta.
That's right. I remember that you were coming through here to just make a pit stop. That's right. And hey, I gotta ask, how was all that stuff? Did you make success of it? I know you were making some travels and whatnot.
Yeah, I did. I got to Atlanta about an hour after the bus I was supposed to catch already departed because the driver who was supposed to pick us up in New Orleans was late, and apparently they didn't know how to get to any of the terminals along the way.
Good.
So
Lord.
I literally had to use my GPS skills to help them out with it.
I've traveled by bus once before. It's not the funnest thing in the world to do. I came from Buffalo to back to Georgia one time, and we went through Louisiana and Kentucky and all kinds of things in this weird shape to come back around. It was like a 3.5 day trip for me. it made me say that I'll never travel by bus again. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, same here.
Like, I'll walk. I'll walk, bro. Like I am not, but I'm good on some bus travel. Like, ooh. So, but in things, I appreciate you joining us for our weekly escapades, and of course, I've got all kinds of things that have happened in this clown world that we live in over the past week. And one of the first things I wanted to actually jump into, maybe to poke a little bit of fun at Luis or see if he had any answers to the question, is, man, how come they're finding people still alive in the crematorium up there, bro? What's going on with that? You don't know what I'm talking about, Luis? So
No clue.
So earlier in the week up there, they found a. It was like the day after we were on for our other live or whatever. They totally found a woman still alive inside the body bag, inside a crematorium, after she was pronounced dead.
I mean, the amount of people that have been pronounced dead and weren't dead was the reason they put bells connected to tune.
Luis, your sound went weird.
Can you hear me better now?
Yep.
Sorry. So they used to connect a bell so you could pull it inside of the coffin so you can declare you're still alive.
Good Lord.
You can find images of those things, the designs of them. So yeah, they were really bad in the past determining if you were alive or dead. And it doesn't surprise me that to this day they're not that good. I mean, remember, these medical professionals told hundreds of millions of people to get experimental technology into their bodies, and according to the New Zealand data, 600,000 people died thanks to those experiments. Congrats to the technology and to these brilliant people that studied that thing they call medicine, and then they completely forgot to question mega corporations and their profit incentives.
Holy crap. I apologize to get off subject. I did find one of the pictures of your safety coffins.
Oh yeah,
like the design of it. I'm trying to work on pulling it up. I'm just like holy.
So-
I mean, I figured something was real like that, but like little picture. I
Yeah.
apologize.
On the plus side of them finding her alive in a body bag before being cremated is that now she can run for her first term in Congress.
that is very valid.
Because she's old enough to do so. I mean, it would make.
She's old enough to run and automatically get elected because there's no competition for anybody. 81 years old, evidently, in this country.
Oh my god!
I did see a guy from New York City called Paperboy Prince that said he's going to run for president, and I'm like, this guy's trying to run for Congress, City Hall, governor, mayor. He's literally tried to run for everything. He's hilarious. I met him. He's an interesting guy.
Paperboy
Prince. Paperboy Prince.
I mean, it's. I guess it seems never ending in that world of political things, but I mean, it seems to be a thing worldwide, really. Also, this past week, we've had apparently Russia's Supreme Court going off the hinge and designating that international LGBT movement is an extremist organization, and they're banning it within their country.
Yeah, they love anything alternative and then act as if they're being base, which is like weird on Twitter. It's like, oh my god, Russia, they're oppressing a group of people that represent a percentage of their population that is the creative class. So they're kicking out all the creatives out of their country. So smart.
I mean, you've said you've said yourself though. You've said yourself though, Luis. I mean, I'm not surprised Russia's doing that, but I'm saying though, you've said yourself, Luis, that there's more there's more gays running the industry than people realize. Like,
I mean, one of the most powerful companies on earth is ran by a gay man and is very well
Yeah.
publicly known. Tim
Yeah.
Cook.
Yeah.
Runs a $2 trillion company. Nobody
It's-
questions his sexuality because he runs a $2 trillion company.
right, and it's just I mean, I'm the kind of guy, I guess, that I agree to like certain limitations on weird things, but just because I have children, but that's just I'm not get into propaganda being fed to them. But like other than that, like you be you. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate bans of any kind. Like I don't think anything should be banned above like whatever it is. Like I don't care if you want to do it, it's on you. You got to suffer the consequences of whatever it is. Like it's your own issue. You know what I mean?
I mean, does Jesus think anything should be banned?
Do you think anything should be banned, Jesus?
But don't hurt people. I don't care.
That's right.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Simple
Let
policy.
he who without sin be the first to cast stones. Something like that.
So politicians should be banned, is what we're saying.
Yeah. Caesar can tax this dick.
No, I love it. It's. I mean, it's a clown show. Most of us here, I'm pretty sure, can all agree that we all know it's a clown show at this point. And I hate to, I hate to even get into that part of the clown show. It's just interesting to see that not only do you have countries that go to other. Not only does our country go to ridiculous measures on things, but it proves well enough that other countries do it as well, and it's also vice versa. You've got people of all kinds of different genre of just people. You know what I mean? That have, I don't know. Some of them just go to the extreme. I don't know. Too much.
It has nothing to do with it being a clown show. What is the worst part about it, though, is that there is still a portion of the population that buy into the whole clown show. You know what I mean?
True.
They still buy into the political clown show. That's probably the worst part about it.
What's actually kind of sad is some of the people who buy into it the most also think they're the resistance.
Yes. Oh my God.
So what is the so do you think the people that are protesting for Palestinian peace are part of the resistance, or it's a mixed bag because hating on Jews evidently is somehow magically resistance against the empire?
I think taking up a side in this conflict, even if you don't have a stake in it, makes you part of the problem, because I'm not really in favor of, like, I can't go live on my main TikTok account anymore because when this whole Israel-Palestine conflict popped off mid-October, I started doing streams saying, hey, we shouldn't intervene on Israel's part. We shouldn't be intervening on Ukraine's part. We should just stay out of it. And totally anti-intervention, regardless. I don't care if you think the Palestinians are right or the Israelis are right.
It's not our problem.
It's not our business.
It's not our problem. You are right.
Yeah.
Most Americans don't have a clue what the politics of this
blame
thing
both
is.
sides. Period.
Just stay out of it.
The only people's problem that like it seems to be is the ones with big pockets and war machines and such like that. But like I agree 100%. I've never understood our interest in global conflict. Why do we have so many bases wrapped around the world in so many places? I know the answers to these things, but I mean, these are questions that I think some of these normies out here that don't have a clue, like these are questions they should be asking. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we sending all this money, like foreign aid and stuff? Most of our debt, a good chunk of our debt, is in the form of foreign aid. If you look at the way foreign aid is just poured out. How many bases
you guys think exist in the world? How many U.S. military bases exist in the world?
A lot, dude. A lot.
Over 800.
Yeah, I was about to say it's it. I thought it was in the high 700s, but yeah, over 800. I heard a number once that was like 790 something official bases at one point in time. But why? Like how official? how is
Official. There's unofficially. I heard once. I think 890 something unofficially.
how is that not aggression?
I mean, it's aggression.
Like, how is
It's
that
passive
not aggression?
It's passive aggression.
Okay.
It's.
Hmm?
I mean, we establish control over the seas, and actually, I will mention, the U.S. Navy is the reason global trade exists to the level it exists today. So
Sure.
we don't understand that piracy was extremely common until the U.S. military started controlling the seas, and then it stopped. It really was in the 20th century that piracy ended, and it was the U.S. Navy that stabilized the global commerce and allowed global commerce to expand exponentially as it has.
Sure.
So there is something that people don't understand, is that the U.S. Navy maintains peace globally, but they should refocus on stopping China from overfishing, which is a real threat to
Oh, you
global
mean
health.
China's new fishing map that they released?
I mean, if you guys have seen the Chinese maps and how they're ridiculous, but
They're
I've
just
not seen the
encroaching
fishing.
they're encroaching on everyone else's territory everywhere.
Oh yeah,
They removed
They not only did they do that, but they've also where everybody, I guess there's this junction where all these countries share the sea, and in this junction China has started claiming even China's navy is going around harassing other countries' fishermen and stuff like that, saying no, this is our waters and you shouldn't be here. And if they pull out their map has like everybody's territory covered, saying that it's Chinese sea.
Yeah,
Almost
the
all the way down to Australia.
There was
ridiculous.
so the Galapagos Islands. So the Galapagos Islands is owned by Peru. Peru had to attack a Chinese fishing boat because they saw them off of Galapagos. They had to attack the boats. So it's getting serious. The Philippines is now inviting the U.S. military and U.S. nuclear weapons into the Philippines. Venezuela is now attacking Guyana because I guess they're learning from America that if you're broke, you just go to war. And
okay, I think I think America's playing both sides of the thing in Venezuela, Ganya. I think they're playing both sides of it.
We have NASA has launch pads in Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys didn't know, so many satellites
and there's oil reserve. There's oil reserves there too.
Yes, I actually even have a friend who he has family there and everything. He's telling me the overall wealth in the country has exploded in a good way. Like there's actually looks like there's being proper distribution of the wealth, so people are becoming wealthier. The country's becoming wealthier, not just a few people.
A place down in there called I am terrible at pronouncing things. Everybody knows this. ESSE. Yes, Escobedo has massive oil deposits underneath it.
Yeah, that's what the Venezuelans are trying to annex. Mm-hmm. And they voted for it. And supposedly everybody voted to invade.
And then I also I wanted to show you guys, because while we were talking about this too, the thing about the Chinese Sea I was talking about. If you pull up their red dot map, now this is what they claim is all theirs. Even these areas right up against all the other ones.
Is it 9 line 10 dashes now instead of 9?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are correct.
Yeah,
it is now a 10 dash line.
It was called the 9 dash line. Now it's the 10 dash line because they added another one.
They keep encroaching, and this is another one of those things. They keep encroaching on people's.
They're building artificial islands in order to do it, and they say, that's that's our property. So that's now like that new land that just appeared out of nowhere. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, and but I mean, you can see how it's been being done throughout history. Clearly, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's done. It's done in your own neighborhoods, your own backyards, by your local commissioners and stuff. Sometimes to take people's land, bro. Like, it's not an uncommon thing.
Well, we need massive legal reforms in the United States in order to help people maintain their homes, because at the rate we're going, corporations will own the majority of homes in the United States.
Yes.
And when I mean corporations, I mean megacorps. I don't mean somebody using a corporation as their representation of their like few real estate properties.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
See, Jesus is ready.
Now I was just
Jesus is
closing the
ready
door
for
because
the
my dog's trying to open it.
we could. I mean, we could. Or we could just keep hoping that the sun finally explodes.
What's the point of that? Like the game resets,
Yes.
but what do you want the game to reset? Well, you lose all your
Because-
progress.
I mean, that's okay. You can start over and maybe do it cleaner next time.
But you don't know you put in all this progress if the game resets completely.
But see, okay, but I guess here's the difference in me and you in this. I think we progressed a different way this time after the last time it happened. And what modern people and what modern statistics and science and education and everything wraps around in claiming that is progress, I think is the opposite. I think is a way to keep things stagnant and to keep people at the top making money the entire time, where true progress wouldn't be that.
What's true progress look like then?
I think it was the time before that, you know, everybody considers as a conspiracy world, but it's the time when great monuments and stuff were built by clearly advanced technology that's beyond our human comprehension.
Well, that's complicated, right? Because you have these amazing monuments built thousands and thousands of years ago, and we are discovering that some of them were built using sound wave technology, potentially. There's different theories, right? But you look at Peru.
The sound wave is the most promising, though, man. Me and you
Peru
have
is the
agreed
most
on this.
interesting example. So the country as a whole has more wonders than Egypt.
Yes.
In every square foot of that country.
Yes.
So
all the way down to giants.
So to give you context, the Americas was more advanced than Europe.
Yes.
Like South, North, Middle, all of the Americas.
During the medieval times in Europe, I think it was full of great progress in the Americas.
Yes, was hundreds of years more advanced than Europe.
Yeah.
The only difference is the Europeans stole the gunpowder technology from the Chinese.
Correct.
And the Venetians, essentially. The Venetians took the technology, then the Europeans and their bloodthirsty problems, because this is fun part. The reason Europeans are so aggressive and so violent was alcohol, baby, what is it called? Baby alcohol syndrome? What's the correct term for that?
Oh, you mean the thing that dude that is a climate activist has?
I mean, there's a lot of people that have that.
You know, that little short dude that talks about how dare you?
Oh, no,
that's a boy.
Greta Thunberg.
When she gets a little bit older and puberty can't hide it anymore, everybody will realize that's a boy.
Well, alcohol, I forgot, it's like an alcohol syndrome, because in Europe there was no clean water, so everybody literally just drank like a low dose beer and wine every single day. So all the babies essentially became hyper violent because of the alcohol consumptions. So Europeans were very degenerate in that sense.
I mean, Europeans are pretty degenerate, period.
Well, compared to the Americas, they were monsters. They were uncivilized monsters with advanced weapons of war, while the Americas was
and that's why in
1770
and that's why in 1776 we sent them packing and told them to, you know, just eat it, because like we don't need that crap.
Yeah, white people made their way to the other side of the world and the aliens left.
Which aliens?
A good chunk of them. A good chunk of them were like, we're out, bro. Like, we can't do this no more.
I mean, that's the reason why they helped every other civilization except white people. They built the pyramids. They built the Great Wall of China.
Wait, no.
The only people they didn't help were white.
No, that actually.
No. There is gigantic monoliths in Bosnia Herzegovina. There is pyramid. Look up the Nice pyramid, which was destroyed by the French government. That was so retarded in the
It was
70s.
probably destroyed by the French government because it was not built by someone white.
I mean, you look at Spain. Let's look at Spain, right? The most beautiful wonders of Spain, all of them, were built by Moors.
Yes.
They were built by the
Correct.
Moors. They were not built by white
Correct.
people. Like essentially,
Yes.
they were built by non-white people. And the Spanish are racist people.
Oh,
If you've ever
Spanish.
met a European
Yes.
that's racist, it's a Spanish European.
100%.
They are
100%.
one of the most racist.
They invented
people
racism.
No, it was Portugal, but yes, close. They're cousins, like they're neighbors. They're the Iberian Peninsula, but Portugal technically invented the concept we know today as like racial based judgment.
Oh my
Ba-
God.
Yeah, they were even raced against each other. Like if you were born in the homeland, you were better than those born in the colonies.
But like, what was it? There was one of the emperors of Rome was black. Like people back in the day didn't care about your skin color the way people think people
Right.
care about skin. The concept of
That's
white
true.
supremacy is actually related to the royalty.
Yes.
It's not related to the concept of the person white, because what is it? Half of Europe was slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Slavs is from Poland. Like the Slavs, like they were the slaves.
Yes.
People have this weird concept of slavery where it's all dark people, when that's not even close to true. In many countries all over the planet, that country at some point was an oppressor, and that's something people don't comprehend. At one point,
And
Peruvians were oppressors, Uruguayans were oppressors, Mayans were oppressors. Like every other country was an oppressor.
and as awful as this sounds, if those countries wouldn't have done those terrible oppressive things in their time, there probably wouldn't be some of the advancements that happen, because tragedy and awful things or whatever usually brings a lot more progress on the other side of it.
What's an example of a time of mass tragedy that created mass progress?
Black Plague.
I mean,
The bubonic plague, you mean?
Yeah, the bubonic plague. Once there weren't enough people to work. Once there aren't enough people to work the field, the few workers that were around had more bargaining power over their lords, so they got paid more.
I didn't think about the economics of the lack of labor and the bargaining capacity in the bubonic plague period. Thank you. I actually did study that subject like deeply in high school, and I found 30% of the population died. Of the European population died. It lasted for a very long period of time, and it was a mix of things. It was the plague, and on top of the plague, it was after hundreds of years of chill. It was called the Little Chill. If you ever heard of the Little Chill, it was the Little Ice Age.
Yeah.
So it was a little ice age plus the bubonic plague that killed all these people. And actually that's the rise of absinthe, where it came from, because you couldn't grow wine. So they started growing absinthe.
Yep.
There's actually an interesting thing I found out recently. The church actually also took a massive hit because of the bubonic plague, and that's likely what led to the Protestant Reformation, because the Catholic priests were always tending to those who were sick and dying and giving them their last rites. But because of that, they were also in contact with the sick and dying. So up until this point, there were really high standards for what you needed to do to become a priest. And there were high moral expectations. You had to have a certain level of education. And because all the papacy was dying, they needed somebody to fill those roles. So they just, by the time the bubonic plague was over, they just started filling the positions any way they could. And that led to certain authoritarian problems within the church that eventually led to the Protestant Reformation. Led to a lot more corruption.
You could, some people have mentioned the Roman Empire never fell. It just transformed, and it turned into the Catholic the Catholic order and the Roman Catholic Church, and you could see its remnants present in today's society. And what's really interesting is the obelisk is
Fair.
present in the city of London, in Washington D.C., New York City, and the Vatican. Those are strange places where a specifically gigantic obelisk is present. There's one in Central Park. It's so weird. There's one of those obelisks in Central Park. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but there's a gigantic Egyptian obelisk in Central Park, and then there's the one in the Vatican, and then there's the one in London, and then there's the one over in DC, which is the giant penis. Because if you see DC designed as like that giant thing in the middle is the penis.
I've been to the top. I've been to the top
You know
of
what's
it.
funny? I actually saw a meme earlier this week. The Washington Monument's the penis, the Eastern Island heads are the heads, and Stonehenge are the toes. There's like a giant dude at the center of the earth.
You know, I guess you want to get
those
into
people don't think the world is flat.
Clearly. That might be a good thing. So, Luis, I believe it was you that might have shared this in the group chat earlier this week. I'm pretty sure it was. It is something I'm actually familiar with, and I was actually excited when you threw it in the group chat earlier this week. And since we're already talking about random weird things that are going on, and I should be sharing sound too. I wanted to share this with everybody else that was on there. Maybe they hadn't heard about it before themselves, or who knows. Actually, I don't actually know. I'm hoping that the sound will share just fine because I do have it turned on. So I guess we will see. But Luis brought back to my attention how our government has wasteful spending and such led to. Our government's wasteful spending ended up leading totally to a lady, for experimental reasons, having sex with a dolphin. And just hang on. I'll let you hear it.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear it?
Nah.
It's playing on my side. It says it's playing out. All right.
It is not.
I mean, it says it's playing on my side, and it looks like it was playing in the live. I guess it's just cut off for you. I don't understand.
I couldn't hear it either.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, I'm okay. Well, I guess I'm just
Issues
gonna
with
quit sharing
live
videos.
sometimes.
No,
But it's an interesting story.
Everything's turned on. Everything's
it's-
turned on, so I don't
It's
understand.
basically the CIA being bored and deciding, you know what, we're going to give dolphins LSD and see what happens. And you could hear audio of, if you can get the audio back, because the dolphin talking is really creepy. It's so. You ever thought, what would a dolphin sound like? That's not how I don't know. My brain can't think that's how a dolphin sounds like, but I guess that's how a dolphin, because a dolphin is not designed to speak in the way humans speak, but just try to see if you can get the sound, because there's recordings of the dolphin talking, saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like it's counting.
Yeah,
dolphins have high intellect, is essentially as high as humans. They just don't have hands and a regular throat to speak to us, but they're pretty much as smart as humans. Their brains are actually larger than ours.
Yeah, there's nothing else I know to do. Like, everything's turned on my side that can possibly be turned on. So I guess I just can't share it for you guys. I'll share it in the link so everybody can go and watch it. But there's nothing else I can do on my side. It gives me one click option to share sound, and I click it, and it's supposed to be sharing. So
a dolphin brain is 1,500 to 1,700 grams, while a human brain is 1,300 to 1,400 grams.
That actually.
And chimpanzee is 400 grams.
That's insane.
Yeah. Here
Yeah.
is an example here in the chat of the size of the dolphin brain compared to a human brain. So,
Right.
and elephant brain compared to a human brain is like ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What's crazy is elephants have such a low alcohol tolerance that they can get drunk off accidentally eating fermented fruit.
What do you mean?
Elephants
Good
can
lord.
easily get drunk because they have a really low alcohol tolerance. Like just one beer will hammer them.
Oh, there is a bird also that gets drunk all the time. So, yeah, some animals get drunk easily. Dogs can get drunk extremely easily, but people getting their dogs drunk is so responsible because they really cannot process alcohol like we can. We have evolved to process alcohol, but alcohol is a poison.
Yeah. Did y'all see the video that went viral about a week and a half ago of the lady who came on and her dog had raided her liquor cabinet,
And the dog is like,
just stumbling around?
that's actually sad. Poor thing.
Thankfully,
He
she
didn't
did the
know what he
right
was doing.
thing and took the dog to the vet overnight.
Yeah.
You potentially have to pump the stomach. I had a friend that the dog ate milk chocolate, and it's milk chocolate specifically that has a particular chemical that starts with an X, and some butter, peanut butter has it too, and that's poisonous to dogs.
I mean, I owned a dog one time. In fact, I was just informed that she just turned 15 years old, and I watched her eat an entire chocolate cake.
Yeah, but the chocolate cake doesn't have that particular chemical. It's
chocolate-
not chocolate.
Chocolate
It's a
cake with
particular
chocolate cake with
combination.
chocolate icing. Like it's got.
No, it's not.
I
It's
mean,
not
that's milk
chocolate.
chocolate.
It's well, it's a particular chemical used in the process of milk chocolate. Like dark chocolate
just
won't
saying.
kill a dog. Dark chocolate won't harm a dog. I'll give you that example. Chocolate
and-
mousse won't kill a dog. Won't hurt a dog. There's a lot of
and
things.
then you know, I mean, there's I actually like the dog conversation because, like, I don't know who I trust in that situation. Long before they, you know, when everybody just fed their dog whatever scraps they had, you had dogs that were living 20 plus years. And now that you got them on kibble, like, they're lucky to make it 10 sometimes.
Did you see
And
the
they're getting
FDA
filled
approved
just
drug?
they're getting filled with so many different drugs and stuff too. Like I'm an anti-advocate for whatever Bob Barker wanted to do because I think that it's their body and their choice, and that you shouldn't be able to just start fucking harming animals because you feel like it's necessary. And I know that pisses people off, but I don't care.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you guys know about Bob Barker and the prison industrial complex?
Oh yeah,
No.
Bob Barker was not that great of a dude.
Yeah, I was talking to a person that lived in the beautiful system that they call the American prison system, and he was telling me, dude, Bob Barker products. We lived off Bob Barker products, and then he showed me the products. Basically, Bob Barker made soaps and then sold them for $5 a bar to the prisoners. And also resold items that, like, you know, regular items that you would find in a store for like insane markups that even with inflation would look ridiculous to you. So yeah, Bob Barker had it in with the prison industrial complex and made a lot of money off indentured servitude.
Wow.
He was basically a slave owner. Great guy.
It's crazy that when, you know, all these dudes that are painted as amazing people, like in the media and stuff like that, that are not that great behind scenes.
John, what's it called? What's that guy? Imagine All the People.
John Lennon, yeah.
You mean that guy that deserved? Yeah, he deserved it. Mark David Chapman did nothing wrong. Like,
yeah, he used to beat women.
Please,
Brag about it.
please do not get me started Please do not get Jimmy started on John Lennon. Please.
Listen, that guy is just. I mean,
The only person worse than Jimmy is if Neptune was here. Man,
you know, I probably have John Lennon deserved it memes on deck.
yeah. He is going to hear the recording of this and go on a rant just by himself to himself because of this.
Well, do you think that that other singer of the Beatles was replaced after that car accident?
I think that everybody should that. You know who else appreciates Mark David Chapman aside from me? The lead singer of Mindless Self-Indulgence, so much so that he even made a song called Mark David Chapman, and he's wishing that he would come back again to get rid of all of the carbon copy clones that, you know, the music industry puts out.
What's another carbon copy clone?
Everything from the everything from 2010 after, there's just clones of clones of clones.
You want to talk about a carbon copy? Have you seen
radio.
Brock Lesnar's daughter?
Who?
Lesnar's daughter. Oh my God.
Have you seen Brock Lesnar's daughter?
Why did you do this?
You want to talk about a carbon copy?
I got it because
She
I shared
already
something
said it.
earlier.
She's already breaking records, and she just got into college. Shot put.
I don't know
Yeah.
who you were talking.
She's
I couldn't
already
hear.
breaking
What's the
records.
name?
Hold on.
Brock Lesnar's daughter. Like, I want to know what the mom looked like because I don't think her genetics were a factor.
Listen,
No, his genetics completely overpowered his wife.
Looks like
Oh.
Brock Lesnar with a
Oh,
wig.
you mean?
This would be the most terrifying hand job of your life.
Or the best one.
Snoo.
I mean,
That's
it's
got a
kind
tight
of a
grip.
testament to his genes.
That looks like Brock Lesnar with a wig.
Yeah.
His genes are very dominant, literally, to the point of them expressing themselves like this. But hey, I'm sure she's a great athlete, so good for her.
Yeah, she is apparently. She's apparently like the athlete to beat right now. Like,
well, she's gonna at this point she's gonna start competing against men. So at least she has the genetic edge because that was the other thing.
She could compete against men.
That brings up.
I'm sure.
When you think, anytime you mention cloning, you can't bring up just the normal peons. You have to look at like actors and actresses and stuff like that. Because another one. Look at Jean-Claude Van Damme's and Dolph Lundgren's daughters.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're just beautiful people because their parents.
I'm not saying anything bad about any of them. I'm just saying like they're just built like their father.
I mean, Van Damme and Lundgren are both athletes, and they raised athletes. It makes sense. Oh, and Lundgren, he has I think a PhD in.
Oh yeah,
science.
he's a genius.
He has multiple degrees. He has multiple
he's a genius.
science degrees. The guy's an actor, but the guy I forgot what his degrees are. I heard I was like, wait, he has multiple degrees.
Yeah, he's like a super genius. Like all stuff aside, all acting nonsense or whatever aside, like he got quite a few things under his belt as far as that route goes. I did have a couple other things that I wanted to show you guys tonight that I was excited to bring to the table that were a couple video clips, but since I can't figure out for the life of me why it doesn't want to let you guys hear the awesome video clips I'm trying to share with you guys, I don't know. I just I'm going to give up on that aspect of it. And, Libertarian Jesus, we've invited you on and you've been on here throwing in some commentation on everything we got going on. So let's catch up with you, my friend. How are things been going on your end? What you got going on? I'd like to hear what you got.
Well, actually, something I've been meaning to bring up is next week, Chase Oliver, a candidate for the Libertarian Party, is going to be in Baton Rouge at the walk-ons on Corporate Boulevard.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's something we got coming up that I forgot to mention leading up to the show. But yeah, I'm probably going to
awesome.
be there. Or also the day before that, I got to work like a 12, 13-hour shift at work because we have our annual Christmas party at Crazy Horse Cabaret off Lobdell.
Oh, nice.
So
I happen to follow you on social media and stuff too, as well as some of the other guys here too. Obviously, people out watching and stuff this evening that tune in from your page and as well as mine. But like, I've seen you in some pretty heated discussion this past week, dealing with religious zealots and former libertarians.
Well, yeah, apparently these two women who were libertarians when we were friends on Facebook had a mental health breakdown about this time last year. I said some stuff I probably shouldn't have online, but it is what it is. But these two, I really don't feel sorry about trash talking because they weren't good people based on what they were saying, the way they act. But they were. One of my other friends on Facebook mentioned something. I wanted to know what a pick-me was.
Oh, God.
And being somebody who speaks out on men's issues all the time,
Yeah.
I butted in and pointed out, for the most part, if someone's using the term pick-me, it's basically like accusing somebody of being a race traitor.
Yeah.
It's somebody that it's basically a woman at this point who's willing to call other women out on their BS.
Yeah. And I know you're a big advocate for men's rights and stuff. Like, that's something I've always seen you push for.
Yeah. Well, I called one woman out who was saying, "Oh, I hate pick-me's," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know you hate them." And then she kind of exposed herself because I said, "The reason you're a bit of a terrible person is because you violently expect men to be traditional, but you are in no way, shape, or form traditional yourself." And her response was, "Well, men should just go back to dying in wars."
Good God.
Yeah, I see why you're not a libertarian anymore. You're a libertarian for yourself, but the second it comes time that you can't use something like child support or alimony against your ex, I mean, I agree child support should exist, but the way the government runs it is absolutely horrible. Just look at Title IV.
No, 100%, dude. Like that's something I do like to talk about is the way that the system has been built definitely against men. Like, there are women out there that use child support as a weapon, and because of the ones that use it as a weapon, even the ones that actually deserve to put it, deserve it for what they, for what it is, it seems to be hard for them in some situations than it is for the ones that are just out there bullshitting people.
Yeah. Well, you know why what incentives the child support system to be so biased against men, right? It's because of Title 40 of the United States Social Security Act, which requires all states to have a child support system, which was already in place. Every state already did. But what changed was instead of going after parents who would just walk out and leave their wife high and dry, instead what you had was the state having the authority to deem an individual parent as non-custodial. And for every non-custodial parent that pays into the child support system, the state will get reimbursements from the federal government for it in the form of aid. But we all know the state just started branding anybody and everybody non-custodial based on how much they make compared to their partner. Because men are still the primary provider, the state can just go, okay, how much do you make? How much do you make? Okay, you make more. Non-custodial, pay up.
I've got I've got like two examples where I've got a really good friend of mine, a really close friend of mine. That man he's got 4 children, and at the time of his wife and him separating, he was the general manager of a Waffle House making almost $100,000 a year, and they nuked him. You know what I'm saying? And he spent years stuck without anybody willing to actually take his case or anything down here in the state of Georgia. He spent years stuck on a assistant manager's salary after he lost that job of nowhere close to that, getting just put on back pay, because he couldn't pay as much as it needed to every week and stuff like that. And even 3 of them are grown up and moved on and married and have lives now, but he still owes back ones because of just the way that the system deemed of how much he had to pay because of how much he made at the time, and he never got
most of the money ends up going. most of the money that the federal government pays back to the states ends up going into the judicial retirement fund in most states. So the judges who oversee these cases literally make money off of it.
Oh yeah.
Actually, even gets really disgusting. I got a friend on TikTok, Alan Tinker, I think his name is.
Okay.
He was molested at 14 years old and pays child support to the woman who molested him. Yeah, that's a thing. They can do that just because you make more.
Holy crap. Wait.
What state? What state?
Michigan. But there's also a precedent-setting case out of Kansas City that the state's Kansas. I don't know why I say Kansas City.
So this lady, so what you're telling me is that this lady and him did what they did. She had a kid by him, and now he's on child support after.
Yeah, she was raising a kid on her own until he turned 18. Then she sued for child support and was awarded it. And this is based on a case from the 90s called Hermisman versus Sayer out of Kansas. The Supreme Court ruled that even if a conception occurred through illegal means, father or whoever can still be forced to pay child support for a conception they didn't even consent to, or even if they did consent. Grooming happens, but for some reason, when a woman does it to a boy, and she should still be able to get child support out of it.
Get this insane thing. Tennessee, 10-year-olds can marry 24, 25, and 31 respectively.
Is that what you sent me?
Yep, it's the states that allow child marriages in the laws. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's child marriage should be banned in any civilized country. Just ban it. It's not even a question. Why the hell is it legal in Oklahoma? Like, why is Oklahoma like super illegal? Like,
well, look, I'm not out here trying to have another Aisha situation like goes on in the Quran. Like, that's not cool.
I mean, the Quran did it. Wasn't it like 14? I don't
care. It's still
whatever.
A leader
Muhammad wasn't a clean leader how people thought he was.
With an 8-year-old, like, that's how that story goes.
Leonardo da Vinci was also a kid diddler by today's standards. A lot of people were kid diddlers.
So many were. When you go back through history and you look at even like some of the most famous people that were up and out there, like Elvis Presley, for example, was known for having like 15-year-olds as girlfriends and stuff like that. Like it
was legal back then, so
I understand, but
you also have to understand that that's the time frame. While it's not right, I'm not justifying it. It was legal. In many states, it's still legal for a 16-year-old to
in Georgia, yeah, it's still 16 down here, yeah. But I mean, there was far worse cases too. I mean, you've got some of these older dudes back then that were famous musicians and stuff, courting around like little girls and basically molding them into what they wanted them to be. Like,
yeah, what was Drew Barrymore hanging out? Was it like, have you heard the stories of like, was it Drew Barrymore? Like, she was hanging out with people and doing coke at like 13?
I think younger than that, actually.
Mm-hmm. What the hell was she doing hanging out with these people and doing drugs? And also, what the fuck was the parents doing? Like, fuck the parents.
Right.
Y'all really want to take a deep dive on Michael Jackson?
Man,
his parents were extremely abusive. That's very documented.
I have controversial thoughts on him because I think that the media and everything was painted to make him the bad guy when he was trying to actually save the kids.
Did you know the kids that did accuse him said that the parents paid them, like told them to do it? Like, he is technically today cleared of all charges by the people that accused him. So he really didn't touch anybody.
Yeah. I think he was trying.
You can look into it. The HBO documentaries.
There's videos.
They had to take them down because
there's YouTube videos that have been taken down of him where he is on stage, like saying things that he shouldn't say and to the public, and leading up to before he got killed.
Yeah, I think he was trying to bait Hollywood out into exposing themselves, and that's why they killed him. because he was probably part of that whole ring. Because got to remember, he's been performing in the entertainment industry since he was 5 years old. Stuff happened to him back then, and it probably affected him the rest of his life.
No, do you know that his voice, that's a made up voice?
Yeah, 100%.
He spoke relatively more normal. You
I
can look up.
apologize for the standing. I just had a muscle spasm in my calf.
There's a fun clip I just heard, which evidently in a video game he voiced with his real regular voice. So there's a video game where he's just speaking how he would normally speak, not the performance voice.
And all the music he made for Sonic the Hedgehog secretly.
Oh yeah, that's such a weird tangent of reality. Is that he worked with Sega?
Y'all know how close he came to actually doing an album with Freddie Mercury?
Yes.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what really stopped it? Because he insisted on bringing his llama to the studio, and Freddie didn't like it. I wonder how much coke they were on back then.
That is probably a lot of coke.
Oh, wait! You guys forgot that Michael Jackson had a pet chimpanzee, right?
Yeah, named Bubbles. That's where I know that because that's where Akira Toriyama got the idea to name King Kai's monkey Bubbles.
Oh god, Akira Toriyama is today one of the most influential figures in global culture, and still most people have probably never heard that man speak.
Yeah,
but but Dragon Ball is going to still be one of the most influential animes of all time.
Yeah,
and he's not even that rich, even though but many animators like him are not that rich, but he's still wealthy comparatively speaking.
Yeah. No, Death Battle even did Goku versus Superman for the third time, except this time I kind of think they got the mood right finally. Like when I first saw it for the first time, I complained because I was a DBZ fanboy. But now that I've matured, I kind of accept it. But this was the first time that really showed how Goku and Superman would actually fight in real life, because the whole time they're just complimenting each other and saying, all right, that was a good one. Now try this one. That's kind of how Goku and Superman would actually go at it in real life. They wouldn't hate each other.
True.
I mean, if those characters existed, the planet would be destroyed in a matter of minutes. What we don't understand when we're watching those scenes is it's only been 2 minutes, and it's 5 hours later. It's only been 2 minutes. It just you just would see light happening in the sky, explosions and light, and that's all you would be seeing. The audience would be less oh, those are pretty colors. That's all you would actually see if that was real.
Yeah. Makes you wonder how they fit the monologue in it. Maybe they're just talking fast, and maybe you would see sparks in the sky followed by them pausing for
honestly, and going. That's the weirdest thing about that whole thing, and every series does it. That's wait, if you're going that fast, how are you speaking to each other? Because that only happens through the vibration of sound.
Yeah.
Right. So this week in the conspiracy realm, there was another video I wanted to bring to you guys, but I can, of course, just bring you a little bit from my take on it and encourage you to go look it up yourselves, of course, because I kind of like giving you guys a conspiracy of the week to go dig into, since we're doing these lives when you've got some free time, if you're looking for something interesting to look at. And this one was actually another one that I've known about in the past before myself, but it was brought back to my attention by our lovely co-host that's not with us this evening, of course, Steven, who's totally a great guy. Don't let him fool you. He tells you that I'm always busting his chops, but he's a really good guy. He's helped out the show more than any of you guys will ever understand that are out there, and it's greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, truly. And he brought up a place called, I'm going to butcher it, the Chantana Wall. It's over in the Chatata Wall. It's up there in Tennessee. It's this really neat, cool, weird wall that they excavated that had an unknown language on it and stuff, and the Smithsonian and whatnot had gotten involved in it at one point in time, and they were actually studying it and checking things out about it and trying to figure out what there was about it. But then after some time, they stepped back into the situation and were like, "Oh, this is like fake." And this guy dug this up down in or over in Tennessee when he was doing some remodeling in his house on his property and stuff. And like, this is literally a depiction of the wall. This was from what the Smithsonian guy that come down and took drawings of it and stuff, ample drawings of it, as well as like pieces of it and the lettering that was on it. And at one point in time, the Smithsonian said, "No, this is just nonsense. They believe somebody just put it there." But upon another look at it years later, they've uncovered it to be Old Hebrew of some form, is what it seems to be translating as. So apparently, we had some old Hebrews running around in Tennessee long before there was anybody else running around in Tennessee, and we didn't realize it.
So that goes back into this idea that there was
Advanced civilizations long before us.
no, not only that. Well, first of all, so if you go through the Graham Hancock frame of mind, which is Graham Hancock
A little
states,
crazy, but he's pretty cool too.
no, he's probably right 80% of the time. So
Yes.
considering how insane some of his theories are, 80% of the time is incredible. Because he's been wrong on like a few things, but in general, he's been right about the majority of things he said throughout his career. There is ample proof that people came to the Americas a long, long time ago. There is
Yes.
redhead DNA in
Yes.
Peru. The skulls that are elongated, the elongated skulls. You ever heard of elongated skulls?
I sure have.
So
I've actually read a couple books about them.
There is a YouTube channel called Brian Foster.
Yes, Brian Foster. I have tried to actually get him on the show. We have discussed it.
Oh,
I've actually talked to him, so it's a possibility. Because I would
I'm
love
trying
to speak to him about what he knows and has found about. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've
I'm
followed him.
trying to find him, Brian Forrester.
He's on.
So,
I follow his Instagram. That's where me and him have chatted.
so the YouTube channel is changed a bit, but they went and did the research. Here it is. Finally, DNA results on the Paracas elongated skull, and it shows DNA from the European continent. So, also, and we've had people here speaking about it. The concept of dark-skinned individuals has been present in the Americas for hundreds, if not thousands, of years. There's
Absolutely.
in Guatemala and other parts of the Americas, you see the Olmec heads. Have you seen Olmec? You know what the Olmec?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Olmec heads. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Uh, just look at an Olmec head. What does that look like?
Yeah. Oh
Very
yeah, dude.
clear. It is an individual you consider of North African descent, right?
Sure.
So
Sure.
that we had a person here that was from Louisiana, and she said, "No, my family's been here for hundreds, if not longer, for hundreds of years." She said
Yep.
before the slave trade.
Yep.
So because the idea is like, oh, everybody that's dark skinned is from the slave trade, and that's not true.
Our very own Kel has traced his family ancestry back to Native Americans that lived in the Floridas that were here long before the slave trade.
And the people, like, to give you context, if nobody's ever done the research, look at how dark Tainos were. They were very, very dark. They were
Very dark.
basically as dark as they come. They
Oh
were
yeah.
extremely dark skinned. Obviously, they're in the tropics. That's the other thing people don't understand about skin. If any of us live long, I was naturally darker actually in the past.
I've seen a picture of a young Luis, and he was a lot more dark and silky smooth looking.
So you take your DNA, like you take Jimbob and his family, which is relatively very vanilla, and you leave them in Puerto Rico for 200 years, and they will start looking very dark. I didn't
Listen,
say
I
this.
can't help that my pigmentation makes things red instead of helping me get tan. Like
Oh, you would with time you would get tan. It just takes more time, but you would get tan. Everybody gets tan. It just takes more time. It just takes more time for you to build up the melanin. So the problem is you would literally have to go every day outside, get the proper exposure to build it up, and then progressively it would just build up over time. Everybody can build up the melanin. It doesn't matter.
Get Cajuns who look Latina. I've actually had cousins and relatives told to go back to Mexico. It's like, bro, I'm Cajun. I'm from here.
No,
Good
and you
Lord.
could pass for Latino as well. You have physical factions, like physical features that look Latino as well. It's just most people like you are kind of this weird state, which is the funny thing with some Latinos is we look ambiguous, and Cajun is a particular collective of people that are also somewhat ambiguous because of the large mix of individuals.
Yeah. Well, people don't even realize that there is a Latina culture here in Louisiana, but we call them mestizos.
Which
Okay.
was a term, and even in Puerto Rico, which just meant Mexican, basically. It was an old Spanish term, which was kind of so it was a classification of race.
You know
It was called mestizo, which meant like a mix of like the white DNA and the
you know the
indigenous
Irish.
DNA.
You know the Irish are the only group of people to change teams mid-war, and that's down in Mexico when they were trying to force Irish slaves to fight against Mexicans in their war, and they decided, no, we totally like the Mexican people better, and decided to just change sides and start shooting back at Americans again. This is true, bro. I'm telling you. I heard a comedian say it best. He said that the Irish have shagged their way into all culture around the world. If you really look at it and you start paying attention, nobody has a problem with the Irish, and they totally have slowly come all over the world and literally come all over the world.
So
man, everybody
they're
on St. Patrick's Day.
Everybody's got a little Irish in them, literally. I promise you. There's probably no matter who does a DNA test, there's going to be some Irish in there.
Yeah. There's actually
Even if it's just a wee little bit.
There's actually a big debate among a lot of people from Louisiana whether or not potato salad goes into gumbo. What I never knew is that the first people to do it were Irish, which kind of makes gumbo the best Louisiana food because it draws a little bit from everybody.
That's
Started
right.
by natives.
Right.
The name gumbo is traced back to an African okra stew. The Cajuns removed the okra and added the Holy Trinity, bell pepper, onions, and celery. And nice. I guess the Irish decided to put potato salad in it for some reason.
Mashed potatoes is just camoli.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say they were just getting ready to do some Irish things, I guess.
Yeah. Of course, the Spanish brought rice, so that's why rice is still
So I am excited, of course, for everyone that's out there watching and whatnot, and for everybody that has been keeping up with recently. It's time for everyone's favorite time of the night. I have been so excited about tonight's, round because not only do we have a guest, but we have a face that hasn't been in here to play around with us, which is Bandit.
There's a weird sound that was just coming in. Okay.
Hi.
We're gonna have my fan maybe turned.
No, it could have been the cell phone created the interference.
My apologies. But we're going to play this week's round of Pirates Against Humanity, as we've totally renamed it so that I don't get in trouble for, some kind of copyright infringement or something. But I've sent you guys your cards this evening. Libertarian Jesus, you have 7 cards sent to your Instagram feed. You'll be able to check back and forth whenever you need to or however you need to. And how this goes is I have a Cards Against Humanity generator.com, and it brings me up a black question card, and we're going to go around the table and let each of you give an answer out of the deck of cards that I sent you. We'll do this 2 or 3 times just to have a little bit of shock value and some fun. And I hope you guys enjoy your cards this week. I got a whole new list of cards screenshotted and downloaded. So hopefully we don't have any repeats. We might have one or two still dangling around because I tried to delete everything. But listen, when you have 5,000 memes on your phone, it's hard to keep up with everything and where you have it and where you hid it, and things get lost in translation. So one day I'll figure it out. But without further ado, I'm going to hit the little thing that makes it pop up, and what do we get? All right, so the black card says, fun tip, when your man asks you to go down on him, try surprising him with blank instead. I will let you guys, do you want me to just hit redo again? They only show me one card at a time. Or do you guys want to answer?
Could you do it again?
Absolutely. Click. My wife really loves it when I touch her blank. Anyone?
My God, these cards are so evil.
I got so many.
You just choose one card. And Bandit, do you want to go first?
I got it.
All right. So my wife really loves it when I touch her.
Raptor Jesus.
Raptor Jesus.
When it touches the ski mask made from Disney underoos. And that's the cleanest.
You're up there, LJ.
I'm going to go with 1 in a million tumor.
1 in a million tumor. All right. So you guys make sure you discard that card. Please let's not bring up the same card twice in one round this evening. And I'm going to hit the button. Oh, this one's a double, so you guys will need double cards for this. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
When my wife caught me cheating with blank, she blank. Two cards on this choice.
When she caught me cheating with Catholic Church tickle parties, she fatally OD'd on Viagra while working as a small Santa. My God. Okay, there we go. Viagra.
Thank you, Luis. Bandit.
These are evil.
I'm really.
I want to look at the cards I sent you.
Read the question again.
Absolutely. It said, when my wife caught me cheating with blank, she blank.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
Oh, come on, bro. We can't pass. Throw two random cards in the mix. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Do you know your cards yet, there, Libertarian Jesus? If we can bounce to you, I guess we can. But you're totally reading cards, Bandit.
Yeah. I'm going to go with pregnant women, overweight people, and sweaty people. And my second card is going to be poking holes in all the condoms.
Oh God. I love it. All right,
I just
Bandit.
had a hard time
That's how
picking the
quick that
first
goes.
one.
And you never know with these things. See, I sit here and this page that I go to, it generates them a page. It'll generate the answer cards for me a page at a time, and I got to sit here and cut them out, and then deal them out to you guys. I think it's a pretty cool thing. I don't know what you got there, Bandit. Oh, he's fake breaking up. He's touching the mic. I hear him. He's like,
In the mic.
No.
Aries.
We totally got none of that. At least I didn't.
He increased the interference on purpose, so he didn't have to read
He's
the
strategically
cards.
breaking up.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next one.
He's strategically.
We'll catch him
That's
next
fine.
time.
I don't like that air, so that's fine. So I already hit.
Let's keep going.
I hit the button, so I already got a good one in front of us.
Okay.
What's my saving grace when I'm hanging from my left nut on a barbed wire fence?
Reparations for slavery.
That came in fine.
Paula Dean covered in butter, shouting the N-word.
Okay. I'm going to go with 20 used syringes in a plastic cup.
Oh my God.
I might have just done
Oh no, Lord, no. No, I've enjoyed this. I thought it was just a fun little side gag that we could play with. Like it came to me just out of a blue moon, just sitting around watching something else. It didn't actually even have anything to do with Cards Against Humanity. I was just like, wait, this would be a cool idea. Like a card game on a live. Like I hadn't seen it yet, so I went with it. I figured just ask you guys a couple questions a week and pass about to random people and see how they go. Like, and that's the great thing about this game is it's like this. You never know what's going to come out of somebody's mouth, even if Bandit intentionally makes it where you can't hear him because he's embarrassed by the terrible cards I sent him. I went back and read them and realized the things that I sent are super juicy. I think I did the same thing to Luis actually. If Steven was here, he'd claim that I did it on purpose because that's just the way he rolls. So
didn't you say it's your kids?
But tonight it was not. It was totally just me, and I was totally just me. Those first two times I did hand my phone out and just be like, "Here, look at this page," and go and click 10 of them. So my oldest was sitting. There's a door right behind me, and the couch is right there. They're probably sitting there right now playing Fortnite. Like I wouldn't even doubt it, 100%. So of course, we're getting to that time of the evening where I like to go around and ask you guys if there's anything else that you didn't think that we hit, or if there's anything else that you want to point out or bring to somebody's attention before the end of the evening. Kind of your last thoughts of the day before we get ready to start signing out on things for the night. Luis, you're here right for the thing. I'd like for you to go first if you'd like.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting month as people come to realize that this global conflict is only going to get crazier and nothing we have is safe or secure. So only trust the community and the people around you and start to build more bonds around those individuals because your neighbor is going to be more important than ever.
100%. 100%. I can't disagree with that at all. Like that's one of those things I like to encourage is make sure you talk to your neighbor, even if it's just something stupid about the weather. I guess you need to make those good reputations or what's the word? You need to make those
Rapport.
good things going on. Yeah,
Build good
That's the
rapport.
word. That's the word. Thank you, Luis. I'm terrible with words, but that's why we have you around, because I don't do good at the talking thing, and you do a whole lot better than I does. So, I thank you for that. So, Bandit, you got anything, Mr. Quiet Pants, tonight? I know it's just because you have connection issues, and one of these days we're going to get you figured out to where you're crystal clear, and I can actually look at you while I'm speaking to you.
Yeah, I got nothing.
So you got nothing?
It's good to be here. It's good to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're back, actually. Like, I've missed you the past couple weeks. I know you've had chaos going on, but thank you for being here this evening. Libertarian Jesus, is there anything else you wanted to throw out there this evening before we got to my final nonsense of the night?
Leva says hi.
Hi,
Leva.
Well, you guys, I totally have all kinds of great links for you with this episode to get back and find Libertarian Jesus here, man. If you guys want to follow him, not only do I got his link tree and stuff, but I totally follow him across the board. You guys go follow him, give him some attention, give him some love, get in on his rants. He's totally out there, always talking about the things as far as like men's rights when it comes to things like child support and stuff like that. I see him up on the forefront of that argument all the time. And of course, I know he's big into supporting his Tigers, because
Oh yeah,
you're always posting about that. So
yeah, absolutely. Finally got Angel Reese back. Had a bit of a flub, but glad she's back. Honestly, one more thing.
Yeah,
I know. Forget about this begging responses to play soccer. There's some damn good female athletes, and I think a lot of the biggest reasons we have issues between men and women right now is because we haven't normalized women's sports. Sports teaches young people discipline, respect, hard work, perseverance, teamwork, and a bunch of other useful skills that have historically been expected from men, but haven't until recently been expected from women. And this is simply the best way to encourage young girls to get into sports and learn those skills that they needed. Uncoachable kids become unemployable adults. So just a little.
dude, I totally encourage. Like my oldest daughter did softball. Like and she's all like, she tried dance. She wasn't very big into it. She tried softball and fell in love with the idea of the sport and stuff like that. So like, I encourage her in sports, and I love to encourage just kids in sports in general. I think it's very important, well, while your kids are young, to make sure that they play. I know it's a little pricey, but there is assistance out there. Like, there's all kinds of community assistance programs and stuff, like not even government assistant programs, community assistant programs, so that you can play sports with these rec centers and stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I keep running to Livy Dunn's older sister, who manages an agency she runs for LSU student athletes to help get NIL deals, specifically female student athletes. And Angel Reese and both of them are all giving back to the community, trying to do exactly what I've been just advocated for, encouraging young girls to play sports. So kind of hope to keep running into her, because I'd like to actually collaborate with her in the near future on supporting that for the reasons I've just explained.
Yeah, man. I mean, causes like that are great things to get tied up into. You know what I'm saying? Just more things that deal, especially down, something like that. That's a message that can reach globally, but it's something you can actually help do locally. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like helping people, get into whatever kind of sport it is, or whatever, whatever it is that interests
right now.
Right. So, but of course, you guys, like I said, I'll have all those links for him, as well as all the links that you totally see everything scrolling across the bottom of the screen during this episode. These are totally all of our friends in Liberty, man. Kirk Elliott, Peachy Key, Ammo Can, the Homeschools Connected, and Pure Pet Wellness. They're still out there supporting all their. I'm still out there supporting all their awesome stuff that they're doing, because they're being the alternative to everything else that's out there. So you guys can always find those links at unconstitutionalawakening.com. You can find all the links actually that go with this episode. Your best bet is to go to unconstitutionalawakening.com because I'll totally update it first before I update everywhere else. And you can go back and find all the stuff that I shared on screen, some cool stuff I didn't share on screen I wanted to share with you this evening, and some other cool links that went along with some of the conversation we've had tonight. I try to keep up with all that kind of stuff. There's always good things going on over there. You can make sure you follow us over there on social media as well. There's always good things going on over there. Bandit is constantly holding it down over there at Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates. He runs it more than I do. We congratulated him last week when he wasn't here on his 60 million reach with those damn ski masks. And funny update, I created a link to try to get a commission off of it, and we've made $20, guys, off of ski masks just because of a meme that 60 million people were interested in. But that meme was shared over there at Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates, and good job, Bandit. He's always
100,000 shares.
100,000 shares. And he helped grow our page. He helped grow that page to 18K now, over 18K followers. So, hey, folks that are actually watching over there, because we're totally there, hey, how you doing? Appreciate you following us now. We've always got more memes coming, so go give it some more support. There is totally stuff from me there too, earlier tonight when I was joking around about the sun dussy, because everybody's on talk about the world exploding.
I do want to make one comment, though, about one of the recent ones that I shared. It made mention of a big throwback shock video that went, or a shock pic that went viral ages ago, back when the internet was in its infancy, the whole goatsy thing.
Yeah.
One of the comments was the admins absolutely have to be in their middle-aged admins because they made reference to that comment. It was, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll have to go check that out. That of course is Captain. What he's talking about, of course, is Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirate. What he's talking about over there is Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates, which is one of our many Facebook pages that you can find us on. Of course, we're also Defeat the Media. We're both on there. I'm hidden in places online you wouldn't believe, so I'm just not even going to tell you. I promise you enjoy my memes more than you think you do. And, as well as everybody else's memes as well, too, man. We've got all kinds of good people on our team working with us. Terry out there in Australia and Daniel up there in Pennsylvania. We appreciate them and their memes that they're throwing not only on our page that they've joined us on, but they started Defeat the Media originally and were generous enough to bring us over there. So, we're a team working on it and always growing as we can, trying to just spread information and wake everybody up best we know how to do through laughter and nonsense. That's why we're doing this. So we appreciate all you guys out there that have tuned into us live. Thank you for tuning in over there on YouTube, on Facebook, on Kick, on Odyssey, and on Rumble. Of course, you can always be over there on the redo on BitChute and all of our audio platforms. We thank you guys so much. We broke, not only are we celebrating, this is our 201st episode ever filmed, even though it's only episode 187, all of our specials and stuff. This is our 201st episode filmed, and we also have reached over 11,000 audio streams and still growing exponentially all over the board when it comes to followers and other views and stuff like that on all the other channels. Thank you guys. That's the only reason we keep doing this nonsense is because you guys are checking it out. So
what's fun is that means it's part of the 1% of podcasts, because the majority of podcasts give up very early. So this is already part of the 1% of all podcasts.
Because we have so many episodes?
Mm-hmm. You can look into that.
Sweet.
Yeah. Majority of podcasts don't go that far.
I just be pumping them, bro. I like to pump. I like to put the episodes out. Now we've slowed it down to these lives. That's right. Now we've slowed it down to these lives, but I like these lives, and it gives me a chance to interact with folks over there in the comments. Hey, I've seen you out there all night. I'll try to get back to you when I can
Just
get back to
control
you and
your
answer
pump.
any questions you
You have
have.
4 kids. You have to control that pump.
And that's why we've come down to these one day of lives, man. I've got 3 kids, and I've got too much going on all the time. So do not curse me with another one. That would kill the old lady, bro. Her body can't handle it. But like, it's it's such as life, and I think life is more important, but I still love to have these conversations with my best of friends. The only one in the group that I've hung out with truly face to face aside from Neptune is Bandit, but still, like, I talk to you guys more than I talk to my real life friends, and even my mom half the time. Like, you guys are totally my people, and I appreciate you guys being my people, and I appreciate you guys that keep up with everything out there with us. I do want you guys, I encourage you as much as I can to go check out Libertarian Jesus. We'll have all of his cool stuff everywhere too, man. He's always on some good rants. His TikTok's the best. I love his TikTok. Like, he'll throw you off too. Like, you'll think that it's one thing, and the next thing you know, it's Libertarian Jesus telling you that chick don't matter and that we need to end the state. And he's right.
Now they're friends from work.
Nice. Okay. So it's always good to tune in with your stuff, man. And as usual, you're welcome back anytime you'd like, man. I appreciate you setting out the time and this evening to come in and join us. I can't sign off without something absolutely ridiculous, because I myself am absolutely ridiculous. So tonight's one-liner that I've got to give you guys before we sign out of here. Oop, I apologize. I have to pull everything back up because I am off track a little bit. How is life like toilet paper? Anyone?
You get shit on.
You're either on a roll or you're taking shit from someone. Good night, everyone.